The way he speaks, it's like he's not even human anymore.
He's not. He buried the man they broke and rose as something else. He welcomed the monsters, made them kneel, and now they move when he breathes. He's not haunted by demons. He leads them.
I welcome the monsters inside me. I stopped running a long time ago. There was a time I tried to silence the growls inside my chest, tried to put a leash on the rage, tried to dress my darkness up in something softer so I wouldn't scare the world. But the world didn't care. The world came with fire, with blades, with betrayal behind every smile. So I burned the leash. I ripped off the mask. I opened the cage and said, "Come out, all of you. I'm not afraid anymore. I welcome the monsters inside me. They said I was too much, too cold, too angry, too broken. But they never asked why. They didn't see the nights I bled through my teeth trying to stay calm. They didn't see the way I swallowed grief like glass and still smiled like it tasted sweet. They didn't hear the screams that lived under my skin. But I did. I heard them all, every second, every breath, every lie I had to tell myself, just to survive. They call it monstrous when I stop pretending, when I stop shrinking, when I stop apologizing for the fire in my veins. But the fire is the only thing that kept me alive. I wasn't born this way. I was made, cut and carved by circumstances, forged by silence, sharpened by betrayal. The people who wanted me weak kept testing how strong I could be. They kept pushing, expecting me to break, but I didn't break. I evolved. I learned to wear my pain like armor. I learned to weaponize the sorrow until it became something sharper than any blade they threw at me. I became everything they feared I might. And now they look at me and whisper, "Monster," like it's an insult. But I say it with pride. Monster means survivor. Monster means I took every wound and turned it into a war cry. It means I don't flinch anymore. It means I don't beg for mercy. It means I'm not afraid of the dark. I am the dark. I welcome the monsters inside me because they're the only ones who never left. The only ones who never lied. They didn't pretend to be kind, then twist the knife behind my back. They came to me in the worst moments, when my body was shaking, when my heart was screaming, when everyone else was gone. And they said, "Let us help you carry this." And they did. Rage carried me through days when I couldn't move. Fury spoke for me when my voice was gone. Vengeance stood beside me when love failed. I didn't ask to become this, but I refuse to be ashamed of what I've become. I've been quiet long enough. I've been the ghost at the feast, the afterthought, the stepping stone. I've smiled while being used. I've been polite while being trampled. But no more. That version of me is dead, and I buried them deep. This version, this one doesn't forget, doesn't forgive. This version watches everything, remembers everything, carries every slight like a sacred scripture, and turns it into fuel. They think monsters are mindless, but the monsters in me are surgical. They are precise, strategic. They wait. They observe. They strike when it counts. Not out of chaos, but out of clarity. I welcome them because they're part of me now. Not chained, not hidden, not tamed. Accepted, embraced, fused into every cell of my being. They look at me now, and I see it. The fear, the regret, the realization that I am no longer someone they can control. They used to hold all the cards, but now their hands are empty. They have nothing left, because I took it all from them. Not out of revenge. Revenge is for those who still care. I don't care. Not anymore. I simply did what they never saw coming. I became more, stronger, wiser, untouchable. They wanted me broken. They wanted me crawling. But I don't crawl. I don't beg. I rise. Every time they knocked me down, I got back up. And now they're the ones on their knees. Now they're the ones looking up at me, realizing they were never truly in control. They were playing checkers while I was mastering the art of war. I do not hesitate. I do not falter. Every lesson they forced me to learn is now carved into my bones. Every battle they threw me into only sharpened my instincts. Every betrayal, every lie, every time they smirked and thought they had won, I took it all. I held it inside me, let it fuel me until I became something unbreakable. They wanted to watch me fall apart, but now they're the ones crumbling. Their empire of lies is collapsing, and I am still here, standing, watching, unshaken. I have no sympathy for them, no mercy. They never offered it to me, so why should I? They wrote this ending with their own hands. They set the fire, and now they are choking on the smoke. They were those who tried to make me doubt myself, who tried to make me believe I wasn't worthy. But those voices are nothing but the echoes of weakness. They are the sound of those who will never know what it means to be truly powerful, to rise from the ashes of your own destruction, to become the ruler of your own fate, is something only the few will ever understand. Only the few have the strength to endure the pain of true transformation. And I endured.
Why does everyone talk about Dad like he's some kind of monster?
They called him a monster because they couldn't break him. Your father didn't just break the rules. He burned them to ash. He violated every law that told him you can't, and turned them into warnings for anyone who dared stand in his way. We feared him because he became what they never could, unstoppable.
I wasn't made to fit inside their little box. I wasn't designed to crawl like the rest of them, dragging my knees through the dirt, begging for acceptance. I was born with fire in my chest and steel in my spine. My soul was soldered together by suffering. Every wound, every scar, every betrayal, they forged me into something they couldn't control. They said, "No, your limits." I tore that phrase from my memory like rotted flesh. I replaced it with one law: break everything they said was unbreakable. They built walls around what a human is supposed to be. I kicked through those bricks with bare feet, blood painting the pavement like prophecy. I bled, but I didn't break. I screamed, but I didn't stop. Pain became my partner. Doubt became my fuel. While they slept, I trained. While they laughed, I plotted. While they turned their backs, I turned my pain into purpose. I devoured weakness and spat out resolve. I murdered the version of myself they built for me, and birthed something they could never predict. I violate the laws of human limitation, because I am not limited. My bones are made of rebellion. My breath is defiance. My thoughts are knives, and I sharpen them daily. They said a man can only carry so much before he breaks. I carried grief in one hand and rage in the other. I buried loved ones with no tears, only promises. I promised them I'd rise so high that the heavens would flinch when I walked past. I promised them I would become everything this cruel world told us we couldn't be. And I did. I am. I've walked through hell so many times, the devil started leaving the door open for me. He greets me like a brother now, but he knows not to touch me. I sit at his table, but I drink from my own chalice, one filled with a poison they poured into me. I drink it now and smile. It doesn't kill me anymore. It feeds me. I have become immune to the virus of limitation. The disease of doubt does not spread here. I am a fortress wrapped in flesh. I am a storm, disguised as a man. They called me arrogant. They called me broken. They called me too much, too intense, too obsessed. They never once called me wrong, because deep down, they know the truth. I made it further than they ever dared to dream. I violate the laws of human limitation because I don't just survive, I dominate. I don't just fight, I conquer. Every room I enter becomes a battlefield, and every breath I take is a war cry. Sleep? That's a luxury for the ordinary. Rest? That's for those who've accepted the cage. I live in the hunger. I thrive in the pressure. Diamonds aren't born in comfort. They're born in suffocation, in silence, in the crushing weight of expectation. That's where I was born, too. I don't care for their trophies. I don't care for their applause. I don't want to be accepted. I want to be remembered. I want my name carved into the bones of history. Not because I followed the rules, but because I shattered them. And no, I don't have a heart like theirs anymore. Mine beats to a different rhythm now. It pounds like war drums. It echoes with vengeance, ambition, and the screams of every time I was underestimated. They tried to drown me in silence. Now they hear me in their nightmares. I was made from the things they threw away. The abandoned, the overlooked, the discarded. That's my lineage. But I took their ashes and I sculpted a monument. Every time they tried to bury me, they made me harder to kill. They call me a monster. They whisper my name with fear and disgust. Good. Let them fear me. Let them call me whatever they wish. I am beyond their words, beyond their judgment. They do not understand me, and they never will. They look at me and see destruction. But I am more than that. I am retribution. I am the reckoning they never thought would come. I am the king of my own hell. I built this place brick by brick. No one dragged me here. No one threw me in chains. I walked in willingly, carrying every regret, every mistake, every broken promise like sacred offerings. I lit the fires myself. I carved the walls with my own hands. This hell, I made it, and now I rule it. The screams that echo through the corridors, they're mine. The shadows that creep along the floor, twisting into shapes I can't name. I know them. I named them once. They were my thoughts, my guilt, my rage, my weakness. I am not innocent. I am not a victim. I've bled for every throne I sat on, even this one, especially this one. I didn't fall. I descended, slowly, proudly. I chose the fire over the light because the fire felt honest. The light lied to me. It pretended to love me, then turned cold when I needed warmth the most. The fire burned, but at least it stayed. Here, pain is not a punishment. It's a language, and I speak it fluently. I stopped asking for rescue. No savior's coming. No hand from the sky will break through the smoke to pull me out. I stop looking up. I look inward. I look down, and what I see now is power, not pity. This place was meant to break me. It didn't. It sharpened me. I don't cry anymore. I roar. I don't ask for forgiveness. I don't need it. I made peace with the storm because I am the storm. I used to be afraid of the dark. Now I move through it like a king through his kingdom.